Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 24th October 2020. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. So yes, for mains purpose and for prelims purpose, these are the articles. See, every day many students are saying that more articles are not being included, but yes, due to paucity of time, as we are doing it very regularly, at the same time we are not covering the repeated articles. Okay, so that's why many students are maybe joining this let's say program or this course, following this course new at the let's say for the first time. So they may be finding कि ये article क्यों नहीं लिया है, वो article क्यों नहीं किया है, but yes, from time to time we are let's say covering all these articles. जैसे कि बहुत ही रिसेंटली कवर किया हुआ है तो हम उसका रेफरेंस दे देते हैं, या फिर वो चीज़ें हम नहीं करते रिपीट हुई चीज़. बट यस, जब एक दो महीने का टाइम पीरियड होता है, देन अगेन दैट न्यूज़ बिकम्स वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट, देन अगेन वी विल कवर दैट for prelims as well as mains examination. Okay, so just you need to have follow up on these let's say daily videos. Okay, so then you will have a comprehensive idea about current affairs. So yes, let us see first article on page number 6. See, United Nations at 75. From last 1 or 2 months we have been covering this or following up this United Nations reforms or UNSC reforms article, and India's role in UNSC, or sorry, not UNSC, United Nations institutions or organizations. So this has been the topic in discussion since last 1 or 2 months, and we are covering this and having follow up whenever we find that the article is having significance for our examination. Okay, so yes, in this article also the article discusses, or the context of the article is that India's role in United Nations organizations since its inception, and how its role has changed in 21st century. And now we know that recently, as a non-permanent member, election of India in the United Nations Security Council, the new term is going to start from the 1st January 2021. So what are the new roles or the areas of work we can say that the India can take up in the new term of 2 years? So this is what the article is talking about. So we can expect such kind of question कि आजकल थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड में जाके क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं. Since its inception, what was the role of the India played in United Nations organizations? So this is very important. So that's why we are going to discuss this, India's role in UN and UN reforms. So 75th anniversary of founding of United Nations is an opportunity to look at the major trends, patterns and future challenges as far as India is concerned in terms of safeguarding its interest and promoting common good. So that's why as we know that our syllabus also talks about जो भी international organizations है, या फिर हम बोलते हैं कि इंडिया के इंटरेस्ट पे जिनका इम्पैक्ट है वो हमारे एग्जाम के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट. Okay, so India's experience at United Nations. So in 3 phases it is discussing India's experience at United Nations. So first phase until the end of Cold War in 1989. In this phase, India had learnt the ropes of exploring and enhancing its diplomatic influence as a moderating force in easing armed conflicts in Asia and Africa by disentangling them from the superpower rivalry. In parallel, यानी कि यहाँ पे फोकस था हमारा नॉन अलाइनमेंट. Okay, in parallel, Indian leadership learned the hard way that United Nations could not be relied upon impartially, let's say, resolve vital security disputes such as Jammu and Kashmir. So yes, we also focused on that United Nations cannot be the, let's say, platform to solve the bilateral issues between India Pakistan, जैसे कि जम्मू कश्मीर का जो इशू है. So it strove to utilize United Nations only to focus common causes such as anti-colonialism, anti-racism, nuclear disarmament, environment conservation and equitable economic development. So these were the common causes that India fought for in United Nations organizations. Okay, in this phase, India in a clever way seemed to claim the moral high ground by proposing in 1988 a bold but obviously impractical three-phase plan to eliminate nuclear weapons from the surface of the earth, but it resisted attempts by neighboring countries to raise the bilateral problems. Okay, so yes, for example पाकिस्तान का जो हमेशा वो यूनाइटेड नेशन पे वो प्रॉब्लम रेज करते हैं, लाइक जम्मू कश्मीर. This yes, demanding decade of 1990 to 2000. So yes, this decade saw the turbulent, what you can say, years at United Nations, like sudden end of Cold War and disintegration of Soviet Union and the resultant emergence of US as sole power in world politics. India resolutely stood against indefinite extension of NPT in 1995 and it stoutly rejected backdoor introduction for adoption of CTBT. ठीक है, ये दोनों बहुत ही important है हमारे prelims के perspective से भी और मेंस पे पर्सपेक्टिव. ठीक है, सो न्यूक्लियर नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन ट्रीटी इन 1995 and yes, comprehensive test ban treaty. So basically these are related to nuclear armaments and let's say peaceful use of nuclear energy. So yes, it is notable that these two development at UN perhaps pushed India to surprise the world in 1998 with its Pokhran nuclear weapon test, ignoring the likely adverse reaction from the nuclear club. Okay, so this was the bold move that India took after this pressure from these countries to sign the NPT and CTBT. So 21st century opened new avenues for India to shine at UN. The impressive economic performance in the first decade, thanks to economic liberalization and globalization policies, LPG reforms, we can say that, helped a great deal in strengthening its profile. This is only aided by its reliable and substantial troop contribution to several peacekeeping operations in African conflict theaters. India has scaled up its contribution to development and humanitarian agencies also. So yes, these three aspects: one, economic strength, economic growth; second, peacekeeping mission; third, humanitarian and development agencies and the contribution to them. India's growing popularity is evident in successful electoral contests for various prestigious slots in UNSC, Human Rights Council, World Court, that is ICJ, World Court जिसको बोला गया है, functional commissions of Economic and Social Council, at times defeating the nominees of China and UK also. So what are the two important issues, two major initiatives that India has heavily invested are stuck without much hope of timely outcome? What are these? First relates to draft comprehensive convention on international terrorism. So the progress has not been done much in this respect, that India drafted this and revised with hope of helping consensus, but it encountered reservation from among the Islamic and other countries. Equally important is the question of equitable expansion of UNSC to enable India to attain permanent membership of along with other claimants from Asia, Africa and Latin America. Okay, so we know that G4 countries, ये कौन से हैं, who are claiming the position in expanded UN, let's say permanent seat. Fine. The move has been stuck for more than 25 years because of lack of unity among the regional formations. It also includes stout opposition from some 30 middle powers such as Italy, Pakistan, which fear losing out the regional rivals in the event of let's say addition of permanent seats. तो ये कौन से है, इनका एक ग्रुप है, ठीक है, इनको कॉफी क्लब बोला जाता है. This can be also asked in your prelims examination. So G4 countries who contend for the permanent seat of expanded United Nations Security Council और उनको अपोज करने वाला एक क्लब है, ठीक है, वो कॉफी क्लब बोला जाता है, that is led by countries middle powers like Italy or Pakistan. The new term that India is going to start for 2 years. India will soon begin its 2-year term as non-permanent UNSC member January 1st, 2021. Its areas of priority will be to continue upholding the charter principles, mounting effective punitive measures against those who support, finance and sponsor terrorists, besides striving for securing due say to troop contributing countries in management of peace operations. These are areas of cooperation, and at present we can say that there are challenges as well as opportunities for India. Opportunities, we can say that the increasing role that can India play in United Nations in future. So to solve the conflicts, to ensure the peace and stability at the world stage. At the same time, what are the challenges? At present, we know that there is conflict going on between USA and China. At the same time, China has been very much aggressive in Asia and the surrounding region, for example, South China Sea, as well as we can say that India-China standoff along the LAC. So yes, these are the challenges, how India can let's say tackle these challenges that we need to see in next 2 years, we can say that. Fine. So in conclusion, you can say that like this. So yes, this year we are expecting United Nations topic, United Nations, or let's say some relevant kind of like India and United Nations at 75, such kind of topic, or simply United Nations at 75, such kind of topic we can expect in essay paper. At the same time, explain the role played by India in United Nations since its inception. In what way this role sorry, यहाँ पे double print हुआ है, ठीक है, has changed in 21st century. So you can mention these 3 points that we talked about, like economic profile has strengthened of India. At the same time, India's role in humanitarian and development, especially in African countries, that has increased. At the same time, the peacekeeping missions, India is the largest contributing let's say country contribution to peacekeeping missions, especially in conflict zone of Middle East and Africa region. Okay, so that we can mention the changed role in 21st century. And India's elections to various United Nations organizations like Human Rights Council, you can say that now the 2-year term, 8th time that India has been elected to as a non-permanent seat at United Nations Security Council. Fine. So these things should be mentioned, and at the same time you should also mention in the end some issues and challenges still resolved, and the India should tackle those challenges. Okay. So this was about United Nations. GS2 international relations. Now next article on page number 7. Yes, हर सैटरडे को एक ऐसी स्टोरी यहाँ पे कवर होती है wherein some important issues are covered, local issues in depth. Okay, so now we have seen the urban floods, especially in Hyderabad recently, and how this has impacted the people of Hyderabad. So yes, this article is talking about specific geographical factors that were responsible for, we can say that, urban floods in Hyderabad. And yes, UPSC has tendency to ask such kind of question like why we have earlier also we had talked about like Mumbai floods and Chennai floods, the urban flood phenomenon that has been increasingly seen every year. Now Hyderabad yes jumped in this phenomenon, and what are the reasons behind this, that we need to talk about here. Okay, so yes, Hyderabad floods, urban floods जिसको हम topic बोल रहे हैं. The Telangana's natural talent lakes exist in sororities. Sororities मतलब क्या है, sisterhood जिसको बोलते हैं, soror यानी कि sister, मतलब एक के ऊपर एक depend करते हैं ऐसे. The state's undulating topography allowed the existence of a reported 1 lakh chain-linked lakes or ponds, locally known as kuntas or cheravus, lakes बोलते हैं उनको, in Hyderabad and its peripheries in the pre-independence era. So आप सोच सकते हैं chain linked lakes यानी कि क्या है कि जब बारिश होता है, okay, so yes, the water that has been accumulated in one lake, when it overflows, the water that is overflowing, it goes into another lake, that forms the chain. And this has been the phenomenon responsible for Hyderabad floods in recent times, and the encroachment in the areas of these lakes that has been responsible. Okay, the surplus water from each lake flowed down to the next water body in the basin, completing the chain link. The system worked well for region in Deccan Plateau where canal irrigation was not on an option. ठीक है, तो canal irrigation option क्यों नहीं था? Because yes, the rivers are not perennial, or we can also say that the rock system is not that kind of, let's say, suitable for extensive canal formation or agriculture purpose also. For example, we can see that in the North Indian plains region, the extensive canal irrigation is done because the extensive irrigation, agriculture is also practiced. Okay, so that is not feasible in Deccan Plateau region, and therefore the lake irrigation in that particular area in Telangana, or Telangana region has been very we can say successful tank irrigation या lake irrigation जिसको बोलते हैं हम. Okay, owing to linkages, flooding could be avoided during the monsoon and there would be enough water impounded for summer crops. The rulers recognized this fact and through their diktats maintained the lake's health. They also added new lakes, constructed strong bunds and drains to control the flows and maintained and developed them. So basically it is talking about pre-independence era. Okay, but what happened after independence? The lakes came under centralized command of irrigation department, alienating the users from their water bodies. Since 1970s, the pace of urbanization has picked up, substituting the traditional value of subsistence placed on the land with that of real estate. So whenever there is urbanization, there is declining activities, agriculture activities, we can say that, and therefore the land use change, this has been huge whenever there is urbanization process or rapid urbanization process. Okay, so land use change, we can say that from agriculture purpose to residential purpose, industrial purpose. So that has been let's say happening in urbanized area in unplanned manner. As the city spread, traditional vocations such as agriculture, fishing vanished. Concrete jungles took over within no time. A unique aspect of असफजाई यानी कि जो प्री इंडिपेंडेंस रूल वहाँ पे जो था was its grant to titles to farmers in the lake beds, so that when the water receded in summer, the alluvial soil offered them bounty crop. No activity apart from farming was allowed on the lake bed. ये पहले का जब वो प्रिंसली स्टेट के अंदर था. With urbanization fast catching up and infrastructure creation not a space with it, lakes became the handy receptacles of cities sewage. ये एक प्रॉब्लम हो गया, ठीक है, कि लेक में सीवेज ड्रेन होना शुरू हो गया. एज अ फॉल आउट, यूट्रॉपिकेशन soon set into the lakes, making the lakes rich with weeds and poor water holding capacity and biodiversity. The fish died, the water became unfit for any kind of consumption. Slowly but surely the lake shrunk in the area, quantity and quality. So eutrophication phenomenon for prelims examination, whenever there is enrichment of water body with nutrients because of, we can say, large scale use of fertilizers in surrounding area, the sewage water, all these contribute to what you can say nutrient enrichment in the water body. That leads to what you can say growth or unprecedented growth of weed in that water body. That leads to eutrophication phenomenon, and because of eutrophication what happens is the oxygen demand of that water body increases so much that the fish die because of lack of oxygen. ठीक है, तो ऑक्सीजन डिमांड बढ़ गया तो ऑब्वियसली ऑक्सीजन अवेलेबल नहीं है, यानी कि इसका मतलब, और इसकी वजह से क्या होता है, फिश जो है मर जाते हैं एंड दैट बिकम्स lack of biodiversity also. Farmers and their descendants who had titles inside the lake beds sold the exposed land. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने सेल कर दिया और उसकी वजह से क्या हो गया, gigantic infrastructure development projects taken up in the successive government, including Outer Ring Road, Hyderabad Metro Rail. So to name the few, tampered with topography of the capital region, altered the hydrology of the lake basins. Use these words, hydrology. Okay, so topography, hydrology. Lake Protection Committee was formed or constitution in 2010 upon High Court's direction responding to a PIL. However, it has failed to fulfill its mandate of identifying lakes, demarcating boundaries and buffer zones for them, fencing them with full tank level stones and preserving them by preventing and removing encroachment. So this has been, the body has also failed, the regulatory or we can say that monitoring body. So this has been the causes में आपको पता होना चाहिए कि the change in land use, that has been the main cause of urban floods, especially in Hyderabad also or other urban areas also, you can mention that. But the unique topography of Hyderabad, that is the kuntas or cherus, that are natural buffers or let's say shock absorbers of such heavy rainfall within short time, they have been disturbed. Okay, So yes, question. The urban floods is result of land use change through unprecedented urbanization. Analyzed with reference to recent floods in Hyderabad city. Okay. So Oli move on Nepal map hints at softer stand. सो यस, बैकग्राउंड मैं देना चाहूँगा इसका, जैसे कि ये न्यूज़ जो है अभी पिछले 1-1.5 महीने के पहले हम बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्कस कर चुके थे, बट पिछले 1 महीने में वो अभी न्यूज़ में नहीं था. सो दैट्स वाई अगेन आई विल गिव यू बैकग्राउंड ऑफ द इशू दैट नेपाल हैड रिसेंटली इशूड ए न्यू मैप which was showing Indian territories in the Nepal, which Nepal claimed. Okay, so which are these territories? 3 important territories that we should know about in Uttarakhand district. Okay, so what are these territories? Limpiadura and Kalapani and Lipulekh. Now Lipulekh is at the tri-junction of Nepal, India and China. So Lipulekh Pass is there where India-China trade happens. Okay, so border trade जिसको बोलते हैं, border trade post is there, Lipulekh Pass. Fine. So there has been conflict in this region because of this Kali river and its origin, the dispute of the origin of Kali river or Mahakali river, that is also called as Mahakali river. So yes, recently after months of simmering dispute with India over the Kalapani issue, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli indicated a softer on Friday when he used an old map of Nepal to greet everyone on the festival of Vijayadashmi. So we can say that this is kind of new soft diplomacy that is played by Nepal. Old map does not show the region of Kalapani, Lipulekh, Limpiadura, which is part of India's Pittorgarh district in Uttarakhand. Okay. Yes, the triangular piece of land is however shown as a part of Nepal's sovereign territory in the new map, which was unveiled on 20th May. देखिए तब बहुत ज़्यादा न्यूज़ में था ये. उसका बैकग्राउंड हमें पता होना चाहिए, लाइक ट्रीटी ऑफ सिगुली, Sigoli. Okay, so this Treaty of Sigoli of 1816, okay, and that was signed between the British East India Company and the King of Nepal at that time. Okay, and that had provision that the Kali river will act as a boundary between the India or that British area and Nepal. But however, that treaty did not mention about the origin of Kali river. Rather, it mentioned that on the east of Kali river and on the west of Kali river. ऐसे words use किए गए. Origin नहीं बताया गया, and that's why the origin has been always disputed. Like for example, India claims that the origin of Kali river is from this Kalapani region, like this, while Nepal claims that the origin of Kali river is like this, from Limpiadura, and that's why west of this Limpiadura, ये जो river है west of this becomes part of Nepal. This is the claim of Nepal. Okay, so ये background आपको पता होना चाहिए उसका. Next, Pakistan to stay on FATF grey list till 2021. Okay, so Financial Action Task Force decided to keep Pakistan on grey list till next review of its compliance with recommendations February 2021. About the Financial Action Task Force, this is important for our prelims examination, and we can say that the question can come from this FATF, Global Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Watchdog, FATF. Now this was established by G7 summit that was held in Paris in 1989. The intergovernmental body sets international standards that aim prevent these illegal activities and harm they cause to society. The secretariat, there is no independent secretariat, right? Secretariat is located at OECD headquarters in Paris. This is important information. Members 39 at present. On let's say June 25, 2010, India was taken as 34th member country of FATF. 2010 में हमने join किया है. Okay, so it has developed the recommendations or standards that ensures coordinated global response to prevent organized crime, corruption and terrorism. So basically it is against organized crime, corruption and terrorism funding. Okay, so it also worked to stop funding for weapons of mass destruction. It has two types of lists. One is blacklist, the countries known as non-cooperative countries or territories. So NCCTs are put in the blacklist. These countries support terror funding and money laundering activities. ठीक है, तो ये हर साल रेगुलरली रिवाइज होता रहता है. इसमें हम बोल सकते हैं ब्लैक लिस्ट में जो है, जैसे नॉर्थ कोरिया है, उन्होंने ऐड किया हुआ है उसमें ब्लैक लिस्ट में. ओके, ग्रे लिस्ट, द कंट्रीज दैट आर कंसिडर्ड सेफ हेवन फॉर सपोर्टिंग टेरर फंडिंग एंड मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग आर पुट इन ग्रे लिस्ट. द इंक्लूजन सर्व्स द वार्निंग टू द कंट्री दैट इट मे एंटर इनटू ब्लैक लिस्ट. तो ये ग्रे लिस्ट में होने के क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है, कंसिक्वेंसेस. This can be also asked for prelims examination. Which among the following is consequences or not consequences of country being listed in grey list of FATF? जैसे यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान को किया गया है. Those countries in grey list may face economic sanctions from IMF, World Bank, जो भी lending institutions है international. Okay, problem in getting loans from IMF, World Bank, ADB and other countries. Reduction in the what you can say international trade, international boycott can also happen. So these are the impacts or consequences of being in the FATF grey list. At present we can say countries like Pakistan are in grey list. Fine, so such kind of question we can have for the practice here. See, they can confuse you here. It is the global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog. Yes, first statement is correct. It was established by OECD. This is incorrect statement. Okay, so yes, G7 countries meeting in 1989 at Paris. So this established the FATF. So this is incorrect statement. Its secretariat is located at OECD headquarters in Paris. Yes, this is correct statement. So that's why the answer is 1 and 3. Fine. Okay, so yes, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes, wherein in-depth analysis of all mains related articles is done by Ansari sir and team, the new batch has started. For further information about that batch, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.